Today's podcast. Oh wait. Welcome, listeners. Today's podcast is with Harrison Jones, applicant, not star of, the Apprentice 2017. He got fired in week 10, but went on to secure the investment of someone else named Alan. He launched his company, became a father, and managed to secure a contract in one of the largest organic retailers in the UK. And he's here to tell us all about it. Welcome, Harrison! Yeah. Okay, Harrison, so you know how this goes.
Yes.
You've been a guest before. First of all, we're going to do a quick fire round and no thinking, which should be relatively simple, just straight answers.
Yeah, let's go.
Vaccine or anti-vax?
Anti-vax.
Anti-vax.
Anti-vax. Anti-vax.
Health or wealth?
Health.
You know what you're supposed to think. Frozen or fresh?
Fresh frozen.
Frozen or fresh?
Freshly frozen. I'm not picking.
You've got to pick.
Frozen.
Right. Watford or Bolton?
Watford.
Stupid. Pandemic or scandemic?
Spandemic.
Balanced diet or vegan?
Balanced diet.
Compostable or reusable?
Compostable.
Partnership or sole owner?
Partnership.
Oh, you don't think that. Okay, so first of all, Harrison, can you just give us a brief description, elevator pitch, into what your company is/does?
So we're a healthy eating brand that is now certified organic by the Soil Association. So we create organic grab-and-go food and frozen meals. The idea is to take the hassle away from the consumer, having to make it themselves, having to think about it, buy it from us, fill up your freezer or your fridge, and then you've got healthy organic food ready to go.
Perfect. So, a couple of things. First of all, why did Lord Sugar say you got fired?
Why did you say I got fired? I think, well, that task, that task was a women's fashion task. So if you're being honest, I don't think I've done too well on that one. And he said I didn't do anything. I did do something, but
What did you do?
what did I do? I can't actually remember. What did I do?
I think you lined the chairs up, if I remember right.
No, that was very well, cleverly edited. No, I got involved in everything, but I just, I think one of the other reasons was because it was quite close to the end. It was near the final. So I reckon he was taking into consideration who he'd be investing in. And he did say my business was just an idea, it was just a concept. I hadn't been involved in anything to do with food, nothing to do with kitchen. So it was just an idea of something I'd never done before. So he did say that if I come to him with a different idea that I had experience in or was currently doing, then I would have had a better chance. And to be fair now, I do agree.
Oh, so that was literally my next question. Obviously, I knew why you got fired, and I think it is because you had no experience in the business that you then wanted to launch. How important for people looking at launching a company do you think it is for them to have experience in that exact sector?
Yeah, now, at the time, I didn't think it was I didn't think it was like a big issue, but now, after starting a business which I didn't have experience in, although I obviously don't regret it, it is a massive factor, yeah. You need to have experience in what you're doing.
Why? What difference would that have made? Because obviously you've had no experience, you still got investment, you still launched, you're still working through a pandemic. So how is it that you have been able to do it, but other people wouldn't?
No, I'm not saying that other people wouldn't, it just makes it 10 times harder because I didn't know anything about what I was doing.
You just didn't know anything.
I just don't know anything about anything.
Full stop.
Full stop. That's it might be the case. I just didn't know anything about the process of running the kitchen, that side of the business. It's just, it's brand new, so I was learning everything from scratch, which is obvious it's going to make everything 10 times harder. So, if you're starting a business, it would make sense to start something in a sector that you're already involved in, you've had experience in,
And how much experience, what would you advise?
Ideally is something that you've done, if you've had a working career, it's something that you've been doing the whole time. That's not to say if you've got a really good idea, you can't go and start it. But it does make it a bit harder.
I agree, it makes it more difficult, obviously, because I've seen what you've gone through. But us as a business, I'd had I had done this for 6 years, and my partner had done it for 4 years, who we launched with, and we was profitable from day one, literally, whereas you didn't really have any experience, so you've not got the contacts, you don't have the knowledge, even down to how's the kitchen going to run, the most simple of things, like not actually experienced even in a kitchen. So although you can still do it, it's just going to be double as hard. And if you're not taking any money. My other thing, what I wanted to ask you, because I think I have a different opinion on this than you, but do you think when somebody starts a business, they should just fire everything off what they're doing, not worry about the job that they've got and just throw themselves into it and launch? Or do you think they should work on it part-time?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be different for different people, but if you can't afford to go full out of business, then realistically, maybe start working it part-time. There's loads that needs to be done behind the scenes anyway before you start, which you can do alongside another job. It'll just take longer. But ideally, if you can't afford it, then don't ever pile off a job and go for something straight away. I'd do the smart thing, keep doing what you're doing, and then the background work. There's so many initial things in terms of starting up the company within company's house and then sorting out a website, contacts, what's your product going to be, who's your target market, business plans, all this sort of stuff you can do alongside another job. So my advice would be if you can't afford, which a lot of us haven't got the money sitting there to do both, do both at the same time.
I'm surprised actually. I thought you would have been a throw yourself into it, man.
No, I would be, but if you need money, then it just makes everything a lot more stressful, doesn't it? Yeah,
I think if you have family commitments and whatever mortgages and things that you need to pay for, you need to sort all of that out first and then work part-time if you are super risky. I mean, I just went for it. To be fair, I just quit, but I went for it because I knew my outgoings, once I launched the business, was going to be really small, and what I could probably sell was going to be a lot higher. So I sold like 15 grand in the first month and paid out about 3. So I knew straight away I'd have some money to live off. I could start paying myself a wage. So I guess it does matter the industry and how big the balls are that you own as well, as to what you're going to do. But I think my advice would be the same. Do it part-time, get everything set up, have a little bit of a clientele, a couple 100%. Of customers, and then...
Look, if you've got the money, the main thing about money, starting a business is obviously the idea, the person that's going to be running it, and then the money behind it. If you've got enough money to allow you to go straight at it, then do it. But if you haven't, then don't. Obviously.
Spend all the rest of your time on it. Okie dokie. So, after The Apprentice, for those of you who don't know, me and Harrison had a beautiful boy together, which launched around the same time as both of our businesses. Launched her out of there. How did you manage juggle, or how do you manage juggle being a parent and launching a startup with such a young child as well?
It's just obviously hard, but it just is what it is. You can't plan for it, can you?
A lot of people though would say, so I was speaking to a girl the other day and she was like, there's no way I'm going to have a child for about another 6 years. She was 27 and she was saying it's not even in my thought process because I cannot possibly work on my career. It wasn't even about business, work on my career and have a baby at the same time. I'm like, gosh, can. In my head, I'm just like, gosh, can. You just do it, don't you?
Yeah, you just do it.
I think if you're waiting for the right time to have a baby,
it's probably never going to be the right time, but that doesn't make it. It's not easy, is it? Trying to run a business, especially one like mine, which is brand new, makes it 10 times harder. But you just do it, don't you?
So what would your advice be to people?
Don't do it.
What, the business or the baby?
Both. Just don't do it.
Just work for somebody else and have an easy life.
Work for someone else and just stay home, chill.
Yeah, go on the dole. But seriously, what would your advice be?
That probably would be my first advice. To be honest, it's been alright. You just got to do it. Like, you can't plan. I don't think there'd probably ever be a right time to have a baby. Never probably the right time to start a business. So it does make it hard whacking them both together. You just do it, didn't you? I think
it just works, though, doesn't it?
I never thought I'd be able to be a dad, or I thought, do you know what I mean? I've never done anything like that before, but you just sort of do it, didn't you?
Do you think you do a good job?
I think so. Why do you not?
Substandard at times. Depends what mood you're in. No, I'm joking. Of course, you're a fabulous dad. But yeah, I think it is. That's a worry to a lot of people when they're looking at launching a business, especially when they've already got a family, or if they're looking to have a family. You feel like you can't do both things. And I don't think if you compare somebody who's got no kids and all they do is focus on the career, yes, they will probably do better than you faster, but maybe not in the long run. And if you look at a parent who is solely a stay-at-home parent and not working, then yes, they will probably give.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you mix in the two, there will be days when you're failing at something. Yeah. But what you're going to do, never do either of them. I think as long as 80% of the time. 70% of the time you're doing good at both, then have a life as well, isn't it? Yeah. How difficult has it been going through a pandemic with a startup company?
Yeah, it's just a killer, literally. But yes, it's not been easy. We're still a really new business. We launched like the end of 2018, so we still are pretty new. We're just kind of finding our feet, getting somewhere, and then there's a lockdown, and any retailers we're supplying, footfall completely gone. Central London was maybe even worse because some of the places that we were supplying were fully focused on selling to office-based workers, which now there is none. So yeah, it hasn't been easy, it's financially and the whole thing's been hard, obviously.
And are you gonna make it through it?
We will make it through it, but it's there's going to have to be things that we cut back on, and you couldn't plan for this, could you? So
what did you do to get you through? How did you go about it? So we've gone into lockdown. What was your next step?
So we went into lockdown, and then pretty much who we were supplying to, the orders kind of dropped quite quickly. So I had to kind of weigh up. I never wanted to stop working because it takes so long to get into a retailer and build rapport with customers. Then I know everyone would understand, but then to drop it so quickly would be terrible. But we had to kind of weigh up what we were paying out, which I'll be honest, we're finding it hard to break even anyway. What we're paying out to what's coming in, and obviously coming in was just so much less to what we were paying out, so we had to kind of shut up shop.
Did you furlough everybody?
Yeah, so we had to furlough all the staff, yeah.
And then what other government support did you have?
Not a lot really. We weren't able to get a grant as of yet. I'm still hoping that we get like one of these discretionary ones. But we weren't able to get a grant because we're in a shared space, so our name's not on the what's it called?
Rental agreement.
Not on the
lease.
No.
Business rates.
Business rates. Our company's not on the business rates. Obviously, we're set up in our borough because we have to have audits and all that sort of thing. But it's just technicality that our name's not on the business rates. So we weren't eligible for a grant. Furloughing staff. We had to furlough all staff, but that means that a strange rule that you can't do any work on your business. So kind of it just pauses indefinitely, doesn't it? Like you're not allowed to do anything.
I just think that to me, I know I'm like. You've obviously heard it, Harrison, a million times, but I'm going to tell everybody else as well. It pisses me off. Where is the logic behind, we will give you this money providing you do not work? How is that having a positive impact on the economy? Because everything has been forced to completely stop. What they should have said, I know I have some business partners in Ireland, and what they've done over there for certain industries, they've said, we will give you, I can't remember the exact figure, but something like £480 towards your staff's wages on a weekly basis, that being the maximum on a weekly basis if you keep them in work. Yeah. It makes sense then. Everybody is at home, pushing on with the business. People are still trading with each other. Instead, they said, we will give you this money, providing they do not send one single email. Cannot do a single thing. And if they do something, then you have to then pay their full wage as well. Not like, I'll just pay you for this day. You have then got to pay them a full month's wage for sending one email. It is the most bizarre thing. So I, the same as you know, went into full shutdown as well. Could not trade, couldn't do anything. I mean, there was nobody to trade with, to be fair. And to me, it was the approach of the government and the way that they run this furlough scheme.
Yeah, the idea behind it's great, and like paying 8% of your staff wage is brilliant. But I just think there's so many little rules behind it, which I didn't think were that clear at the start. Other people thought they were. I didn't. They just don't make sense. I understand if you're a massive company, your income hasn't really gone up or down, and then you're furloughing all your staff. I understand that, and they're still working. Yeah, that's not right. But I'm pretty sure micro businesses make up 90% of all businesses in the country. And like, if you can see my revenue's gone from whatever it was to zero, I don't see what the problem is of those people that should be sitting at home.
I think that's what they should have done.
Even if they still sit at home working on the development of your business. So why not spend that 3 months trying to build other systems and do things to help streamline your company, rather than literally saying you're not allowed to do anything.
No.
Stay at home. We're going to give you this money, but don't do anything. If you look at the country as a business, why wouldn't you say, right, we're paying this money, you can't increase sales, all right, you can't start calling people to do sales, I get that. You can't get another job and be furloughed, I understand that. But
you can. No, the thing is, people have got a second job now and they're still furloughed. So they're getting...
I didn't even know allowed to do that.
Yeah, my brother did that. So you can actually still... Well, I hope that is a legit thing. No, I'm pretty sure it is. You can actually still get a job, and so you're earning double the salary, but your boss is sat at home doing his script. No, you're not. You're allowed to go and work for another company.
You're not.
And be furloughed. You are.
No, you're not.
Harrison, right, I can't, my phone's in there.
Anyway, but yeah, I just think the whole thing is very counterproductive in that. Like, let my staff work on developing stuff. I just don't get it.
No.
Anyway.
I think what they should have done is gone back and looked at, if they're going to investigate people, what they are. Even obviously they'd have to do it in retrospect. Say to people, if your turnover has been affected by X amount, we will contribute towards your staff's wage, and done it on a sliding scale that way. And then afterwards, you can literally prove what your turnover is. Yeah, this is what we had coming in then. This is what we had going out. So then they can give you that money, obviously, to contribute towards the wages, instead of just being like, all right, can't do anything. So those companies who are really going to need it, who are actually going to have to furlough the staff, are then also doubly screwed, because you can't do anything to try and save it. And the moment you want to try and save it, you've got to pay everybody again.
I think it's going to start to affect people quite soon. Yeah, I think it's going to start hitting people, because once that all comes out, we go back into work, you've got immediate cost to pay, but then you're not getting paid from your customers for 30 days, sometimes 60, and then you haven't been working in the business for the last 4 months. It's like, without sounding negative, I think we're going to be fine, because I'm going to sort it out. But I can see how it ends to be a nightmare, because then you've got all these outgoings. Because I've got immediate outgoings. Everything I pay for is straight away. Staff, ingredient, like everything is like straight away, but we don't get paid for ages. Basically. And yeah, we got some money, but borrowed money. Then no one gave it to me.
No,
I had to borrow it. Like the bounce back loan, which again, all these things are good in hindsight. They are great. But then again, next year I'm still going to pay back. So I didn't get given it. It was a helping hand for a year, but other than that, it's good for my staff. But I wasn't even really allowed to furlough myself, because I still had to do the run-ins of the business.
Yeah, that's
Not
it.
that I couldn't. Wage anyway, to be fair. But
we wouldn't have got anything because of the way that works. Where we pay ourselves bare minimum and then get some dividends. And then I see people like, saying, oh yeah, well, it's because you're avoiding paying tax and this, that and the other, so you deserve it. And I just think, number one, what a dick. Like, why do you want to see anybody at this time in a situation where they're going to have no money and everything else that is going on in the world? Why are people wishing it upon them? And I feel like the finger is constantly pointed to the business owners or to the bosses. Those people, took so much shit off people, customers, my staff, the government. It seems like everybody is just pointing it at us, as if I went to China and I ate a bat and I came back here and spread the disease amongst everybody. You just feel like surely the government should have helped us out a little bit more, because it seems like it's been set up to blame business owners and to just leave you a bit in the shit. There's been no support for you personally, and even in your business, you wasn't given anything. You took a loan. You've not even had the grant.
No, I haven't had anything yet. I mean, I'm hoping I'll get one, but I mean, we are March, 4 months in. 5 months in.
August.
So yeah, it has been a nightmare. But then again, don't try to get too wound up, because it's like it's a once in a lifetime thing that's happened. So I understand that the government probably didn't have all these ideas in place, but it would just become annoying if they start to targeting like small businesses. It just seems really weird. I don't get it. But obviously there's people that will be taking advantage of it, and I get it about those, but the majority, it's always the same in everything, isn't it? You've got a tiny little handful of people that will ruin it for everyone. But the majority, like us, like, I'm not trying to scam anyone. I just want my business to do well. I keep employing the 5 people, 6 that I currently employ. You know what I mean? Weird, isn't it? And it's not really there for the business owners. Yeah, very weird. But hopefully we'll get through it. We've just started up again. It's still not anywhere near where it was, but I've had to start up again. I can't.
And so what have you? So everybody's had to adapt at this time. We've changed everything about our business, the way that we're selling things and the services, because you just had to. Yeah. So is there anything that you have implemented or adapted or are now doing differently because of this pandemic?
Before this started, luckily, we were working on our own range of frozen meals and chilled meals, like grab-and-go meals. But that obviously had to go on pause for the time that we were in lockdown and people were furloughed. But we'd already started it, which was a result now. So since we've come back in, we've started again with the development. We were nearly there before, it's just a pain in the arse. It's been a whole 4 months. So we're cracking on with that. And our aim is just to focus on online quite a lot more. I think people's buying habits are going to change for a while. People are becoming more aware of like healthy eating and how that kind of benefits you. So yeah, focusing on online is a big thing for us. Along with retail, you still want to be on the shelves in stores, but online needs to be a big.
Why?
Push.
What do you find? Why do you want to be in with retailers? Because as far as I know, you wouldn't get as much money for your product.
No, retail, it's just something that, it doesn't, it probably makes sense to be more online, but retail, I think, one, it's good for brand awareness, having your stuff on the shelves. I've always wanted my things on shelves anyway. I think that's quite like a proud moment when you get one of your own products bought in by a massive company, which is being bought by the public without you directly selling it to them. Do you know what I mean? When someone just goes in and picks up your product, it's always been like something that I've wanted to have, basically. But retail, there's always going to be a market for retail. But I think online is just going to continue to grow. And
what makes, so you do healthy, organic meal prep, and you have a frozen range, and you don't have the fresh food on your website yet, do you?
No, the website will be launching this month, and the frozen range will be launching this month. The kind of chilled, like grab and go style food will launch later on. But yeah, we wanted to launch with the frozen meals first. I just think it's better for now in terms of the shelf life. People have like this perception that frozen meals aren't healthy. That's not the case at all. In fact, it can be better because we like flash freeze the product so it's frozen really quickly at a really low temperature, and basically it's locking in the nutrition and the taste. So as soon as it's made, that's all locked straight away. It's locked in. Whereas kind of chilled meals, you make it and then it's already starting to deteriorate. Do you know what I mean? It's time to break down. So yeah, and then we can get it delivered straight to your house. So I think that'll be. I think it's gonna be big for us.
It'd be good for me. I've tasted it, by the way, and they are delish.
It's good, and also I'm just spending so much money on rubbish. Even I was like, it's in lockdown, you're spending money on Deliveroo and Uber Eats and all of that.
It's so
and
expensive.
It's because I just didn't have anything in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, you think when you go and do in your big shop, you're like, oh, I'm not getting organic because it's so expensive. But then when you look and you don't have the food in, like if I had them frozen meals, number one, I'd eat it because it's healthier, and number two, I would actually save a fortune, because otherwise, I mean, even when I'm trying to eat healthy-ish takeaways, which are never really that healthy, it's like 20 quid just for me and little Harrison.
Yeah.
It's like £20 a takeaway, whereas I could have just got some of them meals and they're like, what? £6, £7?
So the idea is just to prepare for when you need it, really. So fill up your freezer with healthy, organic food. It tastes good, it's healthy, it's organic. I'm like plugging it here. Fill up your freezer, so then when you haven't got anything in, it's already there. You don't have to spend extra money on food, which isn't going to be as good. And it's just hassle-free, it's just easy. So the idea is to kind of change people's thought process on frozen food. I think like years ago, I don't know, it just was unhealthy, wasn't it? So full of salt, full of preservatives, processed meats. Doesn't need to be like that. That might have had a 2-year, 1-year shelf life. Ours will still have a 6-month shelf life, so you can keep it in your freezer for when you need it. But it doesn't have all of that. It's fresh, it's organic, there's no preservatives, there's no extra salt.
Why did you go for organic? Why is this like your niche?
I think, the market is growing. Like nowadays, our perception of health and like fitness is just getting more and more. We're seeing it on social media, the news. Like it is a well-known thing. The better you eat, the healthier you are. And I think it's going to become more and more clear that eating food that hasn't been treated with pesticides, or chickens that have been feel that steroids and other things, it is going to be better for you. England's not really at the same level as some of the other even European countries, especially other countries like America, in terms of the organic market. So I do think it's going to keep on increasing if people are aware of like the benefits. Yeah, and I think
and
not
why?
many people are
So
doing
your
it.
packaging as well is compostable. Why compostable and not reusable? Or obviously plastic is terrible for the environment, but why have you gone all in and gone for compostable as well?
We were using plastic before when we were delivering our food because it was like the most tamper-proof. It was the one that will get your food there without the packaging breaking, basically. But if we're selling like healthy meals, organic meals, I think we need to kind of go the whole way and go compostable. So we're using packaging now, which is like home compostable and commercially compostable. So you can compost it in your house, and you can put a compostable bin. It breaks down naturally. It's no rubbish is used to make it. It just is better. So then we are then the full package, basically. So we've got organic food, healthy food. The delivery company we use, like a carbon neutral delivery service, and we've got home compostable packaging. It's pretty much the full package.
Full package. Package.
Package.
And so what would be the next steps if you can see beyond the pandemic? I think everybody, business owner now, is just at the point of survival. Beyond that though, where do you see the business going, or what's the next steps for your company?
The next step is launch this range, launch our other range of grab and go meals, and then just continue on development, bringing in new products, keeping like looking at the market and what else is going on, what are up and coming products, and then grow our website. We want to become like a full health website where you can come and get everything, not just food. So like supplements and things like that. That will be the long-term goal.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. When I think of healthy food, not so much anymore, but the choices have always been like Slimming World or Fat Fighters or something, or otherwise like Super Gym, I'm going to eat loads of steak and eggs. Whereas your food is a little bit in between, but I don't think when people think of dieting or eating well, those are the pictures that they get, these strict diets and not actually a substantial meal.
Yeah, I don't really like diets. Obviously work for people, but diets, I don't think any of them are that great, if I'm honest, because a diet is something that you do usually for a short period of time. It's not something that's sustainable, and people, no one's ever been on, well, they probably have, but no one's been on a keto, whatever diet it is, for years and years and years. Obviously some people have, but in terms of most people, so I think it's just the what we're trying to get across is just living a healthy lifestyle. You don't have to eat no carbs forever. You don't have to do whatever forever. If you're just living a healthy lifestyle, that will be better for you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%. And that's your food.
That's it. Yeah. Like so that. It's not. We're not fully kind of targeting gym goers. It's food that's easily accessible, which it's just eat better basically. It's so important.
Do you eat well?
I do eat well.
Did you eat well this weekend?
No, I didn't. But I do eat well. No, I do. Yeah, well, I've been lucky to eat our food, but yeah, I mean this weekend I haven't.
Right, okay. And finally, how can people find Equals Health? Where are you at?
So yeah, you can come onto our website, obviously, which is www.equalshealth.co.uk. Instagram and Twitter and all that's just Equals Health. And yeah, we'll be launching mid this month. We might already be launched.
Oh, exciting!
Talking to the future.
You might not even be here in 2 weeks.
Probably not.
If you can be annoying. Right, well, that's it. Thank you very much, Harrison Jones.